Do you remember that time where Frankenstein almost played the Phantom, but then it was almost the Joker, but then the Wolfman got mad he didn't get the part? Well, you're going to learn about it today in Phantober. Hi, I'm Jessica. I like Phantom, I write Phantom books, and this is Phantober, where I'm talking about a different version of the Phantom of the Opera every day in October. Today's Phantom is one of my favorites, the 1943 version with Claude Rains. And this is really the version of the Phantom that redefined the character for many, many decades, and made the Phantom archetype character somebody who was wronged by society, scarred by acid, and wanted revenge, and that's why he was haunting the theater. And yes, this is all stuff that's also present in Song at Midnight, which came out in 1937. But this remake actually started to be developed in 1935. The director was named Anatole Litvak, and I think that's why one of the two Raoul characters are named after him, and I actually love the two Raouls. Universal Pictures was deep in their monster phase at this point, and in 1933 they made The Invisible Man, starring a well-regarded theater actor named Claude Rains. And what I just learned today is that The Invisible Man was his first movie. He was 44 at the time. So bravo to him. In this new version of Phantom, it was actually supposed to be set in the modern day, and the Phantom was supposed to be a World War I veteran. There was a plot element where Christine was his daughter, but Universal had money issues and other issues, so production stalled. They did already have the set, though, and so the idea came back around in 1941. Universal was doing a lot of musicals at this time, with people like Deanna Durbin and Nelson Eddy. The Phantom of the Opera also became a vehicle for their talents, but they still needed a Phantom. One of their first ideas was Boris Karloff. At the credit, he'd already played Frankenstein's monster in The Mummy. They also considered Charles Laughton, who had played Quasimodo, and Cesar Romero, who would go on to play the Joker on Batman the series, many years later. But eventually they landed on Claude Rains. A decision I'm happy with. I love Claude Rains as an actor here and in a lot of other movies. By this time, the storyline of the Phantom being Christine's actual father had been dropped, but the script never actually explains why he's obsessed with her, other than he just sort of fell in love. This kind of explains the really large age gap between Susanna Foster and Claude Rains. She was only 19 when she filmed this. Claude Rains was in his 50s, so an even bigger age gap than Gerard and Emmy. Now, as I said at the beginning, the Wolfman was very upset he was not considered for this role. By the way, Claude Rains was in that movie too. But the Wolfman himself was played by Lon Chaney Jr. He figured it was a given that he should take this role because his father had made it so famous, even though he had a very uneasy relationship with his father's legacy. There are pictures, though, of him visiting the set. This movie was made and released during World War II, which I think we kind of gloss over sometimes. And it was actually greenlight to have a sequel, and Claude Rains was unavailable for it. So they rewrote the whole thing so it wasn't really a Phantom of the Opera sequel. And they cast Boris Karloff in the climax. It's a pretty weird movie, but it's not bad. Since it started as a Phantom movie, I think it deserves a mention in Phantober. But for a long time, Claude Rains' Phantom was the only one people could see when it was re-released, which it was throughout the 50s, like a lot of Universal movies. It wasn't until the 60s that the Phantom was redefined again and got truly hammered.